We're back on the Coke Zero, and today we are talking about the Sebenza 31 Small. Is this still worth it in 2020? Let's get it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Minimalist. My name is Brandon, and today we are checking out the Chris Reeve Sebenza 31 Small in the plain format in a drop point style blade. It's as plain as it gets. I've been carrying this knife for about 3 months now, so I guess it's kind of ready for a long-term impression. And if you guys are interested in looking at the full-size 31, go check out my other YouTube video on that. I will leave a link in the description below. So in this video, we're not going to go over too many of the dimensions and specs and all that stuff. You guys can find other YouTube videos out there. I just want to get down to the nitty-gritty, what my overall impressions are on this, and why it's so speculated amongst the EDC community, and is it still worth it to purchase a Chris Reeve knife in 2020 moving forward to 2021. So let's talk about why the EDC community either hates it or loves it. I've got a bunch of buddies that dislike this knife, and I've got a few buddies that really like this knife. So I wanted to give you guys both viewpoints. My friends that dislike this knife think that the blade steel needs to be improved heavily. And just to give you guys their viewpoint, you know, this knife is $375, and if you go for the large version, you're looking at $450 to $500. Now the thing is, this guy does have S35 VN blade steel, and to give you guys a reference point, the Wee Banter, that's a $110 knife, has the same blade steel. We'll touch up on that here in a second, but basically, to give you guys an example, in the $400 range, you're looking at like the Benchmade Anthem. This is a titanium integral handle with 20 CV super steel. That guy retails for about $400, and you can probably find it for like $350. And then the newest knife in my collection, the Pena Mula. This guy is made with M390 blade steel. It's got titanium handles. Basically, the Mula has all the same traits as the Sebenza, but it has M390 blade steel. And for those of you guys that are new to blade steels, M390, 20CV, LMAX, those are on the super steel tier. And then S35 VN, S30V, those are going to be more so mid-grade steels nowadays. And this is why a lot of my buddies are speculating and disliking the Sebenza, because S35 VN is kind of out of date now, which is completely understandable. Again, the Mula, you're looking at like $280 versus a $375 knife. You're getting a lot more value out of this versus the Sebenza. Now, moving forward into the positive side of the community, a lot of my buddies that enjoy it, they really like the overall design and form factor of this knife. Now, this isn't like talking about the guys that swear by Chris Reeve and that is all they can do. Nothing is better than it. I'm talking about my buddies that own it and respect the quality that you get out of a Chris Reeve knife. So if we look at the Sebenza, it has some really nice aesthetic lines. So even when you go to deploy it, it's very well balanced. When I say balanced, that means that the handle's not too big and then you've got a small, like tiny blade. Everything is gonna be more so divided. They did really well in making a really nice looking knife. This thing is an art piece in my opinion, and it just keeps getting better. A few other positive things that my buddies have told me and what I've experienced is it's very easy to strop this guy. So if you guys don't know what a strop is, it's basically a leather piece that's on top of a block of wood and you've got some stropping material there. All you do is you run the blade across it, and that will sharpen the blade. And you're able to do that really well because of the hollow grind that Chris Reeve has designed into this blade. The hollow grind on this knife is pretty interesting. So instead of just being a complete hollow grind and then just going to a tip, this guy will convex in and then go back out, and you've got the edge, which is really unique. Basically, the more you strop it, or I guess the more you sharpen it, the thinner that edge is gonna get, which just makes this thing super slicey. Jumping back into the S35 VN blade steel. If you guys didn't know, Chris Reeve was one of the guys that helped innovate S35 VN blade steel. So this thing has the best heat treats that you can get with S35 VN blade steel, which is phenomenal because compare this to like a Wii S35 VN, it's not gonna be on this level. And again, with it being that type of blade steel, it's gonna be easier to strap and so forth. Based off of my experience, it was super easy to strap and go. So after a long days of work, if I'm cutting a lot of boxes and opening up packages and whatnot, I could literally just wipe off the blade, strap it, and then call it good. Instead of having to whip out the KME and then, you know, putting the blade on the actual clamp and then using all the blocks and everything, this just makes things a lot easier. And as a matter of fact, I haven't even had to sharpen it. It's been able to retain an edge for 3 months straight. It's a user. Like, I literally use this thing a lot. As you can tell on the titanium scales, it's starting to get those snail trails. In my personal opinion, it gives it a lot more character, and I like that aesthetic. But, you know, some other people might not like that, so you might want to go for like a micarta inlaid version. So talking about the ergonomics with this knife, it's fantastic. As you can tell, it's a small knife, of course, but it's not going to go anywhere. I can secure all 4 of my fingers on the show side and then not have any issues gripping the actual handle. And on the top of the blade, you've got some really nice jimping here. It's not super heavy jimping, just really light, and it makes it so you can really choke up and get into those cuts. Not only is there really good jimping, the spine of the blade is crowned, so you've got this really nice rounded edge, and it just feels great. So ergonomics are A+. I really enjoy carrying this knife and using it. It is a beater. Now let's talk about the action with the Sebenza 31. Got more of a hydraulic action is what we call it in the community, instead of a fast flip open type of knife with bearings. This guy is operating off of phosphor bronze washers. Basically, this means that you're getting really tight tolerances with the type of phosphor bronze washers that Chris Reeve uses in this. So there's absolutely no blade play. And to show you guys a quick example, let's go ahead and take out this pivot screw, right? So this is coming right out of the pivot. And the tolerances are absolutely ridiculous. There is absolutely no blade play. There's no pivot screw in there. So that's why you pay a lot of money for something like this, are the tolerances. The washers in here, it has a more glassy feel and it's not as fidget friendly, but this thing is built to be a user. If your life depended on it, I mean, I would go for this because it is simplistic. The ease of disassembly and maintenance is fantastic. So basically, if you look at the show side scale, you've got 3 screws total and the entire knife pulls apart. I can say this confidently, this is the easiest knife to take apart, period. And they are Allen screws, which means that it is really accessible. Like, I can pull out one of these random tools and be fine instead of having to pull out like a Wea bit set or like the crappy Walmart versions that I have. This is a very easy knife to work on, guys. They actually encourage that you work on it within the manual. It kind of gives you an exploded view of how the Sebenza 31 is assembled, so that way you can disassemble it and maintenance it. I really, really like that fact. Moving forward, let's talk about the pocket clip. So the pocket clip on the Sebenza 31 is fantastic. Basically, I misjudged it for the large version because I guess I didn't have as much experience as I do now. So I apologize to you guys, but my mind has changed on the Sebenza 31's pocket clip. This thing is absolutely fantastic now. It's been broken in. It has like the perfect, absolutely perfect type of tension. It's not too tight, it's not too soft, it just fits in the pocket elegantly. This pocket clip is pretty much the pinnacle of perfection when it comes to the tension. So I'm not talking about like the pocket clip placement, but more so how this thing operates. It would be cool if they did make a kind of like a loop over style type of clip or a deep carry clip in that sense, but I am very content with the one that comes factory with the Sebenza. And you guys know me, I am super picky when it comes to pocket clips. Like, that is gonna make or break a knife. Like, for example, the Benchmade Anthem. This thing is so tight, it's literally called the weird clip. I'm not gonna say that word, but it's not good. I've already purchased an MXG pocket clip, so that way I will start carrying this more often than not. Anyways, let's talk about the value again and kind of go more in depth with it. Is it worth the $375 to $500 in 2020 moving into 2021? That is gonna be based off of your perspective. I saw the Sebenza and I fell in love with the aesthetic. It just looks super sexy, it looks super balanced out, and it turned into a Grail knife for me. This is one that I was hunting ever since I got into knives. So yeah, in my personal experience, it was worth it to me personally to drop that type of money onto a knife like this. But for someone that's really just starting to get into it, it's cool to look at, but I don't think it's a really good value for you to just get this and have this as your only knife. You can pick up a knife like the ProTech Malibu. I mean, this is like almost half the price. Grab one of these. I know they're really hard to get a hold of, but maybe wait a few months and I guarantee you guys will get your hands on a Malibu. But yeah, guys, there are my overall impressions of the Sebenza 31 frame lock knife. This thing is pretty sweet. If you want a really nice, sexy looking knife and you want to post pictures of it, then yes, I can recommend it. Thank you guys so much for dropping by and watching this video today. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoy knife and EDC content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell icon so you guys know when that next video is live. I will be announcing the double EDC kit giveaway winners on Christmas Eve, so guys, be sure that you're entered in that or tune in to that video when it goes live. And I wish you guys the happiest of holidays. Thank you so much for dropping by. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.